Jacki Blu, thank you for sitting with me and bringing me into your home for this interview.
My pleasure.
I usually start out by asking the interviewee to state your name and also tell us your mother's name and your father's name.
Okay. My name is Jack Anderson, Jr. My father's name is Jack Anderson. My mother's name is Neres Anderson, N-E-R-E-S. And they all migrated out of Texas. As long as I got something to tell you, I'm going to tell it to you if you want to hear it. Because nobody's been telling this Sugar Hill story right. I was born and raised in Tucson. I didn't come from nowhere else. I was born and raised right here in this desert. Right here. Used to play in the barefoot summer heat. That's how we used to do.
Sugar Hill has always been the name that this area has been called by the locals and people who grew up in the neighborhood or the surrounding areas. Sugar Hill neighborhood is one of Tucson's historic black neighborhoods. People started moving in the late 40s, early 50s, around the time that the city decided to redline this area for black homeowners. My grandpa came here in the 50s, brought his family along from East St. Louis, and yeah, we've been here ever since. Sugar Hill is a name that's given to many black communities all over the country. It refers to a black neighborhood that's kind of up and coming.
My family moved over here in 1960. I was 4 years old when we moved over here.
I was born in this neighborhood. I was born in 1961 in this neighborhood.
My parents and the parents before me, they're the ones that built the community. And they built a rich community, faith-based community. Most of the people went to church.
It was one of the middle-class neighborhoods where a lot of professionals lived. There was a lot of military families. There was, principals, teachers, doctors.
All right, Sugar Hill, let's do something. Can we make some noise up in here? Can we make some noise?
What it did was fostered neighborhoods that became united and achieved historic things.
Dancing in the park, day after dark, racing cars, whipping down the hill.
We're the Sugar Hill Coalition. We're trying to get our community back.
Sugar Hill, Sugar Hill.
From the 60s, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, everything was very close-knit.
To my brothers and sisters from Sugar Hill, welcome.
Unfortunately, the drug epidemic hit, and that literally destroyed a lot of people. You know, a lot of people went to prison, a lot of people got addicted to drugs, a lot of people died. You know, a lot of people lost their homes. Some people lost their homes behind that. Unfortunately, that's what happened.
Hey, I'm Jacki Blu. God bless you. I know folks that because of those times and those days, some of them just getting out of the penitentiary, you know? Been done all that time. And that's who I'm talking to in my music. I'm talking to the people that was right out there with me, whether it's fighting the revolution or selling drugs in the street.
The goal of the Sugar Hill Oral History Project is to make visible the history of the neighborhood, the lives of the people who lived here and who still live here. And just to increase the awareness of the neighborhood and the black community in Tucson.
My mother came out to support her aunt, found a job. My father, on the other hand, a little bit of a different story. He came here with qualified papers to be a heavy equipment operator, to build homes or to build highways. And he was putting in applications everywhere and he couldn't get a job. till finally somebody, one of his friends, told him that, man, they're putting your application at the bottom of the list. You will never get hired because you're black. He could get a job as a janitor, which is what he did. So he was an angry man deep down inside because he had to spend most of his life doing work that he didn't like to do.
When it comes to racism, segregation, and oppression, I think it's, similar in all areas of the country.
Everything you see internationally happened here, locally, on a smaller scale. Students rioting. I've had people get shot by the police, relatives get shot by the police.
I don't think it's vastly different from living in the South. Maybe you weren't going to get lynched, but, there's still all kinds of oppression and, places where you had to stay and jobs that you couldn't get.
As long as I could remember, I always wanted to play a guitar. I used to imagine that I would take a shoebox, get a rubber band, and a stick off the chinaberry tree, and make me a guitar.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's your style or your process of writing these songs? Specifically, the Party at the Bro. Did you write that when the Bro was still around, or did it come after?
A few years before.
Party down at the Bro.
The Boat Brummel was a social club. I don't think it was just black people, but I think it was mostly black people. I used to go there with my dad sometimes during the day and hang out. It's been torn down now, and I think that people are still kind of upset about that.
I could just see how it was going and how we lost so many places like the Bro. Yeah, I wrote that because I experienced that.
Jacki Blu's music is kind of like a historical timeline of Tucson's black communities. When did the neighborhood start to change?
Like it is now?
Yeah, when did it become like a black community into something different? And what do you think caused that?
Time brings about a change. So a lot of that I attribute to time.
I chose this one to kind of really show the world like what gentrification has done to the neighborhood. I mean, if you look to your right, look to your left, these are houses that developers came in, bought up. The whole block is student houses now. Sugar Hill has definitely been targeted more because it is a black neighborhood. Feldman's neighborhood to the south, Jefferson Park to the east, they all have historic designation status. Sugar Hill does not.
At the end, what I call at the end of the battle, right? Because we lost it. I ain't say it's over, but we lost it.
I called one of these numbers and, asked if I could stay there, if I could live there, and I was told that this wasn't a good neighborhood for me to stay in because I have a daughter.
It's just kind of sad that some of the things, a lot of stuff we fought for is cool. Some of it is just, and the people that fought for it, nobody knows about them. Nobody cares. That's the thing, nobody really cares. I can tell them about them, but okay.
My main purpose working with the neighborhood association was to bring light to the historic residents, the history of it, and just to make the neighborhood visible again, and in the real way that it was in the past.